Hello everyone, this is Invertebrate Dude here, and I figured that I would make a little bit of a care sheet video actually for Bantua species Namibia. It's a relatively new introduction to the hobby, to bladder and I've been lucky enough to get to keep some, and I've bred them successfully, so I figured I'd show y'all how I was keeping them. Since it seems quite a few of you are interested in keeping the species yourself. So, let's dive right in. It's very condensated right now because I misted the enclosure a bit yesterday, and it still hasn't evaporated, but in about 2 days it will be completely evaporated. You can see a little baby right there. Oh, they're cute. That's like a what? Third instar looks like. Oh, look, there's another eating. So, yeah, I got these guys in a 5-gallon tote here, gasket tote, Ziploc brand, I think. Actually, no, I think it's Sterilite brand, but doesn't really matter. They climb very well, and the nymphs can fit into pretty tight gaps, so you don't really wanna give them a lid that's not airtight, or else you're gonna have babies everywhere in your house. They have about a centimeter of coconut fiber as a substrate. They don't really touch the substrate much. They mostly stay on bark. There's like semi-arboreal in the wild, so substrate, it doesn't really matter what you use. You could use just about anything. It's just there to retain moisture because they're not going to be touching it. I did mix in some rotten wood because I was low on coconut fiber, and they have not eaten it at all. So, yeah, that's not needed. They've not touched the dead leaves either. Only thing they really seem to eat is fruit. So they got apples, banana, and they also seem to like chick feed and pollen, artificial pollen. That's what I'm using for their protein sources. You see that one right there is he's chowing down on a little piece of chick feed. It looks like doesn't give a crap. Yeah. So I got these horizontally slanted bark pieces here that the nymphs seem to use. But this right here, these are where all the adults hide. And, yeah, I don't think I'm gonna move that. But there's like eight or nine females, like, and a couple males, nestled in here. And there's some smaller nymphs in there too. But that seems to be where they like to hide, the adults and nymphs the most. Oh, you can see male right there. Huh. Anyways, yeah. So I keep these guys. I keep them. Most of the enclosure is bone dry. For most of the time, I will mist the corners, like this corner here, and that corner, um, every couple days. I keep that moist at all times. But the rest of the enclosure is bone dry because they are a desert species. They come from Namibia. The nymphs have a waxy coating on them to, protect them from drying out, so they can handle really dry conditions. But they do like a little bit of moisture, especially the females. For gestating, they like to, brood in moist cavities. And for that, you can either use like rotten wood chunks they'll bore into, like big, like little logs. They won't actually eat the wood, they just bore into it and make tunnels, kind of like Parasphaerus pygmaeus do. The roly-poly roaches, which they're pretty closely related to these guys, actually. What else? You could use curly bark pieces, too. But I have just been using these that I made. These little makeshift cork hides made out of corkboard and hot glue. And they've been giving birth in them just fine. So, I mean, these work okay. You basically just need some sort of cavity, that the females can hide in. They don't really seem to like giving birth just in between bark pieces for some reason. They seek out, different areas. Um, and yeah, they go in there and they just, hunker down and give birth. And the gestation areas have to be in a moist part of the enclosure too. Seems to like humidity. And so some of these I built in with like little, like coconut fiber, wet, filled recesses that like leak moisture into the rest of the hide to keep things more humid. This is makeshift hillbilly ingenuity, but it seems to be working. If you want to make things easy on yourself, just use rotten wood chunks or curling. The type of bark that really like curls up like birch bark, that would work well. Yeah, I keep these guys hot, they like it warm. They're an African species. About like 85 Fahrenheit, if I had to guess. I don't have a temperature gun. Yeah, there's a little bit of babies all over the place in here, which is nice. They give birth to about, what is it? I would say like 5 minimum. 5 to 10 babies, like, usually, per brood. A little bit more on like their second broods, but their first broods are usually pretty small. Sorry if my hands are shaky, it's just, yeah. That guy's still chowing down. I have cotton springtails in here as the cleaner crew. They're not really often used in cleaner crews because they're kind of a finicky springtail species, but I didn't really want any springtails in here that would kind of overwhelm these anyway. And these springtails are all over the place outside where I live, so free, but they seem to be doing good in this enclosure and doing a good job as a cleaner crew. Also, small silvers got in here somehow, of course, or abated mites, which, aren't the best to have in your enclosures, but they're better than grain mites and they take up the same ecological niche as them, so yeah. These guys need, this is one of the most important things. They need like an absolute ton of ventilation. If you do not give them enough ventilation, they will take forever to gestate. They should only take 3 months to gestate, 3 to 4 months maximum. And then the nymphs take around the same amount of time to mature, which is kind of funny. Very quick, turnaround time. But yeah, I think that's about it for these guys. Nothing really too special. Oh, I wanted to show you though. I did take out an adult female here. Let's see if I can focus. Come on. There you go. They're cool. I like them. Weird little armored Paraspherinae species. Alrighty, well, thanks for watching, guys. See ya.